Hey man, how's it going?
Oh, not too bad. Having an off day. I don't know what's wrong.
Hmm.
Everything or nothing, or just the minorness of something that is just getting me off my game today, or just
Sure.
that because it's Monday. Who knows?
It's probably Monday when we're recording, Wednesday when we release this. But yeah, I hear you. It's one of those things. Maybe it's something to do with the episode. It's also
Uh,
like you, a little off. Yeah, welcome back everybody to Bite My Shiny Metal Cast, our spoiler review, quick review of what is this episode called? The Beauty and the Bug. So, I want to do something a little different today, Mitchell. I'm going to start us off just to reference, then we'll get into the episode. I had said to the last episode, which we both agreed was probably one of the strongest, if not the strongest episode of the series as of late, like with the Hulu revival,
the temp. Yep, the temp.
right? With the temp. This episode, because I said last time when our predictions were completely off, the episode must be good. Our
We were
predictions for
very
this
wrong. Yeah.
episode, we were very wrong again. And this episode's not very good, unfortunately. So it's not
Yeah.
us. It's
Our, wasn't I very like intent of like it's gonna be about Zoidberg because like lobsters are like the bug of the sea kind of thing.
yes.
Yeah.
So okay. So originally I had said it was something to do with Kif because Kif somehow kept on coming
Right.
back to me about bugs. That was the whole thing with
Yeah.
that, right?
His
Because he turns into his
final
hookworm or
species
his hookfly.
evolution turns into
Right.
J hookworms. Yeah.
Right. But you and I both agreed that would be kind of stupid, especially because now I think they've said that they're going to have another series or another season after this one due
Yeah.
like in the next year or so. So
Hopefully.
they're not just gonna make Kif not, Kif Croker that we know, right? But I don't know why, Mitchell. Why did we forget about the Bugalo? So here we are.
Well, because we were going with the whole Beauty and the Beast angle, right? Like
Sure. It
how
was
it's
probably
got
our
to be
first
about
thing. Yeah.
Amy. You were pretty intent about it being Amy because she was the
And
beauty.
I'm not entirely wrong. It did reference a
Uh,
little. Well, had something to do with Amy's family, as we'll get into
Nothing
in
to do
this
with
small plot
her being the
synopsis.
beauty though.
No, you're right. It was the Matador, right? Like the one who trains Bender, right? So
Yeah,
yeah,
that
overall,
one.
so the basis of this episode, and then we'll get into our review of it. The basis of this episode is nothing to do with Beauty and the Beast whatsoever. It's
Nope.
literally the crew find themselves on the Wong Ranch, which is nice to see again. It
Uh,
still throws
uh,
me off. Still throws me off hearing Leo Wong now. I'm not a fan of it,
no, I hate
but
it too. I hate it. I very much
um,
hate it.
yeah. So all that said, it doesn't really matter that much for the episode. But in any case, something that we've never been introduced to before. We know about the Bugalo, but now we find out about the Bugalo are also like the males are kind of like bull things, right? Because Bugalos are essentially cows, and they're still like these
Like a rhino
insects.
beetle version of
Exactly.
it.
Which,
Yeah.
it's kind of a cool idea, but I wish they had talked about this maybe in the original series, but whatever the case.
Yeah, they changed some lore there, but
Yeah. And apparently
it's an
Mars has
easy
a town.
change.
Mars has like a Spanish Mexican town now,
Yeah,
which is like, okay,
so far
whatever.
was it
Anyways,
two
yeah.
out of the four episodes have been a race thing and specifically Latino thing.
Bender focused episodes have to do with like Mexican or Spanish
It's
historical
it's
things.
it's, it's there's only one important thing to talk about right now. Actually, no, there's two things. There's only one important thing that the people most likely want to talk about, and that's race kind of
Mm.
thing. Oh, what race are you? Oh, you poor thing. You're
But
not a white person.
it doesn't make
Oh, you're a
sense
white
though,
person.
because
Ugh.
Bender's a robot. He's not a
Exactly.
race. He's a robot. It doesn't
He was
matter.
made in Mexico.
He was just happened to be manufactured in Mexico. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, we have this weird Mexican town, and it just so happens they also have this run with the bulls type of thing. And mind you, I shouldn't call it a Mexican town, the Spanish town. And whatever the case is, the Bugalo are essentially the bulls, as mentioned, and the crew take part in this. And Bender meets a beautiful another robot that I'm forgetting her name, but it's like jokingly like a very long because Spanish and
Yeah.
Mexican families typically have very long names. I don't
Marquita.
Marquita. So she happens to be a matador who's like the best of the best. Like she's the one that survived the longest. So she teaches Bender to be a matador, and he does so in order to try and impress her and get jiggy with her, as he keeps on saying. Though we've never heard Bender say jiggy with it,
No,
but whatever.
that was a little funny, I
Kind
will
of
say.
weird.
Yeah.
But in any case, he then starts developing because he battles this Bugalo. He beats it. They cut off the head or whatever and show it to him as a trophy.
Yeah.
He's feeling a little guilt towards it, and it turns out that
which Bender has never felt guilt ever before.
which is also not true.
I
Although
don't think that's true.
that was Leela, right? Leela was feeling the guilt, I suppose.
The episode where Bender flushed Nibbler down the toilet, he got an emotional implant stuck in his head that was connected to Leela, and apparently it was working at 5 times capacity or something like that, or half capacity. I don't know.
Triple capacity, yeah.
Yeah.
But he still felt guilt before, so Bender should know what this is with robo emotions or whatever, human emotions. But in any case, he later finds out that the Buffalo speak when they're in groups.
Yeah,
and
there's an asterisk on this.
Yes, and everybody's like doubting him of it, and they just don't believe him. So he tries to stop the bullfighting or the Buffalo fighting by dressing up as a Buffalo himself, and then he gets beaten, and then the Buffalo turn up because they decide. So we'll talk about this a little bit in my negatives, I guess, but basically, okay, the Wongs say, okay, we're not going to do this anymore because everybody hates it now, so we're not going to do Buffalo fighting
Which
anymore.
is a very not Leo Wong thing.
Not at all.
By the way.
And then it's not a Wong thing whatsoever. And then the Buffalo rush in, and then they just openly tell everybody, no, we like killing people. So
we like killing matadors, yeah.
And then that's it. That's where it ends. It literally just finishes off with like Bender being finishing off like, okay, I guess I'm not going to do this anymore. And
as 3 crappy endings out of 4, we'll say, like 3 unresolved ones.
Yep.
Kind of thing. So far, this is the second best episode of the season, in my opinion. There were some really good jokes in this one little one-liners and stuff. I'm trying to remember. One of them, it was like Bender when he's saying like, oh, it's not something fake. It's more like, oh, the Force. I feel like the Force.
Oh, right.
Sorry. I just found it. I felt something, not something phony like love, something real like the Force. I did like that joke, but also it's like, I hate
that
when
joke
Disney
feels a little forced, actually.
I hate it when Disney strokes their own ego kind of thing, especially when they use it with a different franchise for something that sucks, like Disney Star Wars.
Sure.
So
I'd say I liked more of the visuals of the episode. I would say like I did like when they're running away, like when they're doing the run of the bulls type of thing, and like Zoidberg's like scuttling because he's a crab.
Yeah,
that was okay.
He was scuttling on all 4s, which he doesn't do.
Not very often, no.
No.
He usually has his claws up and goes, right.
Hermes at the beginning had some really good jokes for positives.
Yep.
He's like, oh, I didn't even notice you, Mr. Wong. How's it going?
Oh, I didn't see it.
Yeah, exactly. That felt pretty good.
That was okay.
Another one I thought that was really hilarious was Amy like, oh, I don't eat the Buffalo. I eat Beyond Meat Buffalo, which is made out of pork because she hates pigs.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
So that was hilarious because
culture. If you know anything about Chinese culture, like pigs are very, very popular, and like pork is very popular in Chinese culture as well. So it's funny,
right? Or is it more of like a lore mythical thing?
It's no. It's just because pig was just the most common thing. Like you don't get a lot of cows or beef out there, so pigs is just a very common food.
Okay. So okay, cool joke. But like I love jokes about Beyond Beef because I do not think Beyond Beef is good for you, or Beyond Meat, whatever it's called. But I just found this little joke hilarious because it's just like, oh, she's vegetarian. I said, oh, it's pork. Ha ha ha. Right. I thought that was pretty funny.
Did you have any sorry to interrupt you? Did you have any positives overall with the episode in terms of story?
Just a couple. The story was
meh,
forced in my opinion because
meh, right? Like it was pretty blah. Yeah.
But like you are right that why would Mars have a Spanish city town in it?
Yeah.
And like it felt
it's
built
very
just
weird. For the episode. It's just made for the episode, right?
Yeah. And will we ever see it again? I doubt
it. Probably not.
And I do like that Betsy or whatever Amy's
Buffalo Betsy.
Amy's Buffalo still around. I do like that. Yep. Kif should have been in this episode. Like 100% Kif should have been in this episode, and it should have been him doing it, being the matador, and maybe Bender gets jealous or something like that. I don't if you want to put Bender in here somehow, but sure. I still think it should have been more about and her kids weren't even in it. The kids weren't even in it.
No, they must have been with Kif.
There was a whole bunch of jokes they did with it last season, how the parents thought they were gross. You could have had more of that in there. Okay, I guess that's in our like how we would have changed things or something like that. Yeah.
I would have argued as well. It's having Kif in there because then that would have been more closer to what we had predicted, or at least what I had said about having Kif in there. But yes, it's strange. It's strange because the Buffalo were very much a Kif and Amy story. and then it was turned into a Bender one. I don't, you know what? You probably could have had it where Kif was the Matador, and then maybe there was another species, so to speak, another alien person who may have kind of liked Kif. And then that would have had a weird little relationship between Amy and this person.
Yeah, because there's that one episode about Amy leaving Kif. There's a few episodes about Amy leaving Kif.
She actually was with Bender and whatever. Yeah.
Then there's also the movie one where Smizmar literally means do not sleep with my
commanding
superior.
Officer.
My commanding officer.
That Brannigan. Yeah.
So what was another thing I liked? Sorry, I'm just the story itself was C-. Like I said, like it's not a failing grade, but it's not like, oh, good job, you did great. I do like the fact that Leela was like always eating the legs and stuff like that. Here's my positive. The characters were written very well in this episode. They didn't step out of it at all, kind of thing. They did, except for like the Wongs, where they kind of like, this is all, we don't like doing this anymore. Oh wait, we're gonna do this. Okay.
Yeah. Hermes, in the casino, gambling is still okay, right? That's more Leo, I guess, but yeah.
Every character felt like characters of old, except for the Wong parents.
I would sorry to interrupt you again. I would say I agree with you on most part. I'd actually disagree with you with Leela. And they actually do kind of mention this in the episode. Yeah. Well, so the joke of it, right? She has that joke, like, that you've mentioned this joke before from last time when she's like, what, like, I'm drunk now, like all this kind of stuff, right? Like she kind of throws her morality and her thing out of it. This time she's like eating the buggalo and she can't stop eating like the buggalo or whatever. But Leela's always had an issue with like hurting animals. Right. And doing this kind of stuff. So because Amy even says this to her, like, Leela, don't you want to like step in here? And then she's like, why don't we make this your problem? Like it's that
still sounds a bit like Leela though.
I guess, but it's for this kind of situation. Like, I don't know if Katie Sagal just didn't have a lot of lines in the episode. I guess it was a Bender centric episode, but it felt a little forced on my side for that. I just like, oh, okay. I don't think Leela would say that. But every time you see her, she's just eating. She's eating buggalo.
Yeah, so. I like that as a joke, but maybe I was associating it with a different episode. The thing I think I'm associating with is when they all swapped bodies, and it was Amy inside Leela's body where she was eating a whole bunch of like everything.
But that's because Amy got fat.
Yeah, I know.
That's because Amy wanted to eat, though, right? That's a different thing. Yeah. Like Amy never really shows a lot of problem when it comes to like rights or animal rights or anything like this. Like we see a little bit of that with Preposition Infinity because she's in it, but then only in this case because she happens to own a buggalo and she loves her buggalo, this kind of thing, right? Leela's always had an issue with that, so that's what I was kind of like, I wish there was more to that. Like that could have been interesting.
Maybe I just like the joke of her eating the buggalo legs the entire time. I think that might be it. But I now that you've said that a little bit, it's like, yeah, you're not wrong. But I still think that this is how she would react if she was doing that.
Yeah.
Rather so that was actually like, I'm always drunk. What? That happened? Yeah. What? I'm not Leela. What?
That was one of my negatives, was Leela just kind of shoving this away, considering that she's always in the past. She's always been nosy and getting involved with things. But
I feel like the writers only write for like 3 to 4 characters at a time, and if there's like any of the other crew that's not a part of it, they just get pushed to the background very quickly.
Yeah, like Fry was a background character in this one, very much so. Yeah, he still acts like Fry, but he's very much a background character.
Yeah. 100% agree with you on that. It's just, it feels weird, like off. It feels off. This episode feels off. Like everyone is like themselves, which I will give a plus for. That's a good job. You made the characters themselves. You didn't make them like a parody of themselves or like a different version of them, which is not them. But I think all the characters acted appropriately. I can agree with you on Leela, but I still think she acted correctly for how she acted, not why she acted. But yeah, I can't really think of anything else positively wise for this kind of thing. It was your C- type of episode.
Yeah, I'd throw this as a very not even mediocre. I'd say it's barely passable. Like it's not insulting. It's honestly kind of boring. It's just boring. There's not much to do here, and there's no resolution to it. I didn't laugh very much. It's I would put it no higher than what episodes come out recently. Like honestly, maybe like even like the One Amigo. I'd say I'd still find that one funnier than this one. Not a worse episode, but it's just funnier than the One Amigo. The One Amigo was funnier. This one just doesn't really hit anything. So I thought it was kind of off.
Now let's see what the audience says. So I was on Reddit. And for the most part, I don't really trust Reddit users that much. You have the people that comment and you have the people who don't comment. I'm a lurker, so I don't ever comment. So I'm seeing a lot of people say that they love it, kind of thing, but they're giving like very small things like, oh, I love it because of this one small specific thing. It's like, well, that's you're loving that joke.
Not really loving. So can you give the audience an example of what one of these people said?
All right, here's a person. This episode was pure comedy. It succeeded in that job. Besides for the jiggy joke, I found it hilarious. 7.5 out of 10.
Really, so, the jiggy joke was the only thing that made it funny.
Yeah, I like that. I like that joke too. Yeah.
What?
And it's just
again,
I guess because jiggy, it's a little sexualizing women or something like that, which she said it too. So come on. I think that's what this person
said. But it doesn't say anything about like the humor. Like, okay, whatever the case. You know what? Maybe that's it. Maybe that's just it. Having watched the Hulu series now, having watched and there was also that little plug-in with like, we're about to like get away from this, like, don't you hate when commercials interrupt things right when it's supposed to be important, and then like Bender's sitting there and he's like, make sure to switch to Hulu Premium or whatever it is.
I'm like, about that. I've only watched it through 1.5 times, so I can't.
Sure.
I didn't remember that one, but yeah, you're 100% right.
Yeah, so that's, I mean, whatever. A shameless plug is a shameless plug. Whatever. Point is, I think for some people, maybe they will find this episode endearing or kind of funny because like they like the Matador thing, they like Bender, being stupid and doing like all these little weird things like that he doesn't characteristically do, and it's just a one-off episode. It doesn't add anything to the series. It doesn't do anything for the characters. We're never going to see this town again.
Nope.
And
I did find a comment that kind of agrees with us. It said, this Duck Pickmaster says, that was ... the most generic, boring episode ever. An uninspired plot of what if Bender was a matador? Another irrelevant love interest of his. An emotional through line I don't really care for. Not a single good line, not a single bad one granted either. But if you ask this person, they say 5 out of 10 nothing if an episode would it be this one. So they kind of have like the meh about it. Like I still think there's a couple good jokes in there. Doesn't make up for a bad episode though.
No, I would agree. I would agree with this person saying, yep, 5 out of 10. It's passable at best. Yeah. You can watch this episode. Maybe you'll watch it once. You will never remember anything from it. So
we've pretty much said the good stuff, what we would change, and the bad stuff. I think both you and I agreed to add Kiff in this episode would have been. It would have made him the Matador kind of thing.
Making him the Matador would have made more sense. Mind you, like they made him a cowboy for the other one, and Amy's parents are still like whatever with him, and they don't like their grandchildren. I mean,
that is still hilarious.
Maybe they could have done something with it, but whatever the case, yeah, very meh. So yeah, overall 5 out of 10. Not much to say.
A very short review from us. It's just it was a nothing episode. Yeah, there's nothing to complain about, overly complain about, I should say, and nothing to go, yeah, this was really good. It's just it was middle ground at best, with a little blip up and a little blip down.
Right. Yeah. So hopefully,
I'm looking forward to the next episode, which
the next one's going to be hopefully more that we can talk about for it. Mind you, these should be short spoiler ones. The Silicon and Gold, I know.
Yes.
So we'll see what happens. I mean, hopefully it's better than this one, and obviously we want it to be good. We want all of them to be good, but hopefully this one will be.
I have a feeling the next one is not going to go so good.
Well, we'll find out. Maybe we have more to talk about, but we do want to keep these brief anyway. We've been a little long recently, so we'll keep it short. Yeah. But yeah, overall, you'd say.
Well, last thing.
Yeah.
What do you predict the next episode will be out of 10? Just like thinking about it.
The next episode, honestly, I would still stick with my predictions one from what we did beforehand with the Hulu predictions. I think
we have high hopes for this one, but we're expecting nothing because we got tricked last season. But I think they have the cast in this one. La Barbara is coming for the next one, and Bill Nye the Science Guy is going to be playing Bill Nye the Science Guy's head. So I'm wondering what they're going to do with this, because Bill Nye has not been in my good books the last few years.
We'll see. I mean, it's a science related one, so we'll have to find out. I'm still thinking parallel universes, but
you know what? I would love for it to be that, and I hope that it's good.
Well, but let's save it for that episode. We'll focus on this one. We'll finish off with this one, in any case. But yeah, you go with me then. 5 out of 10
for this one. Absolutely, yes. 5 out of 10, maybe 5.5, because there's a few good jokes.
Sure, you can have some fun with it, maybe, but you'll never see it. You'll never remember this episode again.
Yeah, Beauty and the Bug, forgettable.
Yeah, forgettable. Exactly. All right, thanks, Mitchell. Toodaloo.
Toodaloo.